This is the final video from the Make Art Your Living workshops, where we have been going through a framework showing people the foundations to make art they love, get it out into the world, and make a living from it. So if you haven't seen the first 3 videos yet, go back and watch those because they all feed into each other. This video won't make sense. If you're here live, you can stay with us, but go back and watch those 3 videos afterwards. So I want to say a big thank you to everyone taking part in these workshops. Every year I do this, it's the most incredible experience. And I really feel when I do this that I'm stepping into what I'm born to do. And it's because of you. It's because of you that I do this, all of you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being incredibly kind to each other. Thank you for sharing and being vulnerable. You've shared your wins, your struggles, your transformations in just a few days. And I want to say thank you to all of the members of United Art Space, the hub members, because it is their contribution towards being a member that I'm able to run these sessions. So this is the last workshop, but it's not over yet. There is still a lot more to come. So in this video today, I want to talk about what happens when you start to add extra work into the mix. Because I know that you've probably got more artwork that you want to sell, or if you haven't, you will have in the future. And so I want to talk today about how this starts to lead now into those final 2 keys, the how and the action. And I'll also be talking about how all of this leads into our full 7 Keys course experience, which opens for enrollment today. I am super excited. So I'm going to be spending the rest of this week replying to everyone's comments and answering questions before we wrap up. So all of the workshops come down on Thursday. So the site will come down on Thursday. So you've got until then to consume everything. If you are taking part in the 7 Keys course, then you will get access to all the replays of the workshops, the Q&A sessions, and all the talks with artists as well. I'll talk about the course soon. First of all, I want to go through some of the actions and actually some of the success stories that have been sent in. Let me just read a few out. So Anne sent me a message saying, I stepped out and did the power hour. I am amazed as I became part of a tree group of artists and I discovered tutorials on painting watercolor bark. And I have to say that watercolor has always defeated me. But I've surprised myself, becoming inspired and excited to think that maybe trees could lead me. And my mind jumped forward to thinking, I can do this. I joined the group, they're welcoming me, and they led me to share not only my art pieces, but the story of my beginnings of creating trees as a child. After this, my mind was whizzing. I remembered words of a song that I wrote more than 50 years ago. I say song, but it has no tune, only words. But it was never intended as a poem. And I called it Music in the Trees. And I'm thinking of sharing this in the hope that it will lead someone to compose the tune. To sum up, I had no idea these workshops and the chosen piece would take me to this place. Thank you so much, Michelle. That is an incredible story, Anne, and I love this because quite often we fixate on money, 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 money. And of course, money is great, but we have to recognize these steps and how the 7 keys can lead you to these incredible journeys, these contacts, these interactions, the found reasons for making within yourself, the hidden song that you created 50 years ago, Anne, that's been sat dormant. How exciting is that this framework has brought that out of you? Thank you for sharing that. It really was amazing to read. Leo said, the bottom line is have confidence in your talent. Sales will happen in time. Following a trend may not always be what you want to dedicate yourself to. Make the art that makes you happy. Absolutely. Beverly says, I realize that I've been collecting information inherent to my art, but not actually taking the step of reaching out and communicating. It's time to step forward. Evie says, I'm part of this workshop and it's been fantastic. I've rewatched the first video and just typed up my mission statement, my vision, Being able to hone and identify my why has been my sticking point until now. It's finally out in a document and I'm stoked. Susanna says, I'm now analysing the purpose behind my work. It's surprising me. This workshop experience is amazing. There's so many. I don't even have time to read them all out. Alison said that Alison took the 7 Keys course last year. This summer, I've had a solo exhibition. I've sold 5 paintings. I've got 4 commission pieces. I would never have believed this a year ago. Sarah says the same. She took the 7 Keys course last year, and 12 months on has had the most amazing experience. I love this advice from Sarah. One of the most profound things Michelle says is that you're only 1 or 2 people away from your next opportunity. I repeat this to my children. I connected with a person in an exhibition space and scarcely agreed to do a solo show. I was petrified. I only had 1 piece of art I thought would be worthy. Because I had to go and get my work framed, I found a local framer who just happened to be one of the handful in the country to hold a respected certificate. He saw my work and rang a gallery who said, bring your work in and we'll take a look. I was scared. And they said, yes, my work is now for sale in a gallery. I walked past this for years and never thought I'd ever be good enough to be in there. And now so admitting my work into another gallery, and had, oh my gosh, a piece of work exhibited out of 650 submissions. My point, I took this course because Michelle is so personable, honest, but also it was a price I could justify and it has changed my life. Oh my gosh, and also had a work in magazine. So yeah, I could literally sit here and read these out. There's so many and it's so exciting. I'm excited for all of you. What excites me most is the success that has come just from the last 10 days of us working on this together, from asking the right questions. Imagine the success you'll have if you take the 7 Keys course over the next 8 weeks that we work together. I'll talk about it in a minute. But not only that, long term, you've seen the messages pouring in from people that have applied this 12 months ago, and their lives have changed beyond recognition 12 months later. Because what we want to do is keep the 7 Keys in the forefront. We don't have to work on it every single day of our lives, but we do want to keep working on this. The people that have had success have taken action, because what we don't want is for you to leave the workshops and then the fear to kick in, because what becomes dangerous is when we try and predict the future. So, for example, you might say to yourself, as you're working through the framework, I don't know who my people are. And you might be looking and doing the power hours and you just think, I don't have a who. This isn't going to work for me. Or I sound really silly talking about my work. I'm just not going to do this anymore. I don't have a why. I'm not going to be able to do this. I've got no idea where to put it. It's too frustrating. What it can then lead to is you saying, ultimately, I don't want to do this. I just want to focus on the making. So we have to be really careful of these stories that we're telling ourselves, because we can't predict the future. Anything's possible. You might find yourself saying this, that what if I do this and this happens? And what if I do that and that happens? And it's all quite negative. And we have to reframe this. Because you won't have all the answers in a week. And if you don't have the answers, it doesn't mean this isn't going to work for you. The answers will come. I have other projects that I'm working on using the 7 Key framework. And a lot of those projects, I don't have the answers to all of this. It's taken me on one project 10 months and I still don't have the answers, but I'm chipping away. So using this framework, we are learning the right questions to ask ourselves. We are learning how to acknowledge fear when it arises, because it will. We're learning how to reframe situations, how to ask the right questions. So if something happens, instead of saying, but what if that happens and it's terrible? It's like, well, what if the opposite happens and it works and it's great? It's how we react to situations and how we create our own success, because we create our own success on purpose. There was a great question that came in. Someone said to me, I would like to know what successful artists earn. And this is a great question because it leads me to the definition of success. because I know one person who is an artist and he sells 1 to 3 pieces of art a year. He sells between 10 to 10,000 pounds, and all he does, I say all flippantly, his target is to sell 1 to 3 pieces a year, and he lives on a very minimal salary, has a very simplistic life, and that is success to him. He is successful selling 3 pieces a year, living a simplistic life. He's very happy. I have another friend earning well over 1 million from art sales, completely opposite life, crazy exhibitions all the time, intense work, all over the place, busy, 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 busy. Has a team, it's bonkers, successful. So I don't really think that the amount that you earn defines your success. You create your success, you define your success. Don't base your value and your worth on how much money you make. You make up the rules, you make up how much you want to make, and whatever you want to earn is success for you. Because there is no one path an artist can take. We can use this framework to guide us, but ultimately we are all going to take different paths. Some earning lots of money, some not. Some churning out art like there's no tomorrow. Some just making a few pieces. There is no right or wrong. But what we're doing here with this framework, instead of floundering and instead of just hoping and instead of not having a voice or not understanding what art means to you or why you make it or how it relates to others, is now you have the foundations to start your journey with focus and with direction. And this is how I created United Art Space. I didn't set out to create a United Art Space. I followed this framework and was guided here through this process, because we learn by doing. But if we have no idea which direction we're going in or no focus, it is difficult to know what steps to take. And I use the travel analogy a lot, because if you say to yourself, I want to go traveling, what does that actually mean? How are you going to get there? What steps will you take to go traveling? Well, you're not going to be able to answer that because you haven't defined it. And this is what we're doing through the 7 keys, is we are giving ourselves some direction and some focus so we can understand the next steps. If I say, actually, I'd like to go to Africa, then I know that I can reach out to someone else who's been to Africa. I can figure out the ways that I travel to Africa. I know now the right questions to ask myself to find my way to Africa. But by just saying I want to travel, I can't find the right questions. And this is what we're doing here. It's exciting because we are equipping you for your journey so you can ask yourself the right questions, so you can meet the right people along the way and go on the most incredible journey ever, finding your pineapple. I'm going to talk more about the pineapple and the significance in the webinars that I host this week. But when you start to get clear, people will, you say, I'm going on this journey to find the pineapple. People will tell you along the way, this is where I've seen a pineapple, and this is where, if you want pineapples, go over here. I have to bring this card in at this point. Chris sent me this, a member of the hub and someone who took part in these workshops last year. You are incredibly brave. And I love this because I talk a lot about how we're all setting sail. We all set sail on our own journey. And this is for all of you from Chris. You are incredibly brave. So when you start to ask questions like, how do I price? How am I going to sell? It's like asking, how am I going to travel? There are so many variables. So this is giving you now the foundation so that you can start to answer those questions. It's exciting. So what happens when you have more artwork, more than one artwork to sell? I know this is what you're all dying to know. The good news is it doesn't mean you need to stop creating all the artwork that you love. That's the good news. That being said, there are things that you can do to make your life so much easier and simpler. And that's what I want. I want my life to be simple. And that's what I want to share with you. So, the best example that I can give you is a musician. And I use this example every year because to now I still don't have a better way of explaining this. It is the best way of explaining, and we all need to recap on this, even if you've taken the workshops before. So, we have a musician just starting out, so hungry to play all types of music, rock music, dance music, operatic, Disney classics, hungry to learn it all, like us artists when we discover art, and still now. But what happens when we have all these different avenues is that it reduces the probability of reaching our people, because we are trying to speak to lots of different people. It's like having 10 different shops and we're running between all the different shops because we have different customers. So take the musician and say the musician creates a rock song. And people start to listen to that rock song. They've posted it on social media and go, wow, this is amazing. I love this. And I'm going to go and tell my friend, you should go and check out this rock artist on social media. And then a rock magazine listens and said, we'd like to feature you in this rock magazine. And this is great. And people are starting to follow now. And then the musician thinks, okay, I'll have a concert because I've got a following now. So I'm going to have a concert and I'm going to invite people to listen to my music. And when people come to the concert, the musician decides to sing Disney classics and operatic music because that's what the musician loves. And all the people are sitting there thinking, we didn't buy tickets to see this. And this is very similar to what happens on social media when people are swapping and changing. When there's no relationship, people will follow you for a certain type of artwork, and then the next day you've posted something completely different and they go, oh, okay, I'm not really into this. And then you disengage people. So what happens when that artist creates rock and creates the rock concert, and then you build momentum in that area? It does not mean that the musician cannot play operatic and all the things anymore, because it just means what you're putting out into the world needs to make sense. There needs to be a relationship between the work and what you're putting out into the world to increase your probability of fine-tuning your who. And I remember when I was at uni, I still like making textiles, surface pattern, clay, printing, painting. I loved it all. I still love it all. There just became a point where I had to focus. I don't stop making all the things that I love. But you have to ask yourself, do you want to increase the probability of reaching people, or do you want to reduce the probability? And there's no right or wrong here, but by having a relationship between the pieces that you put out into the world, you are going to increase the probability of reaching people. And I have an 80-20 rule. I have this 80-20 rule for a lot of things, but in terms of making, what you can do is 80% of the work that you put out into the world to sell or to make an impact has a relationship in some way. 20% of the work that you make doesn't get put out into the world, and that is your curiosity. It's what makes you passionate. I just want to throw paint on the wall today because I feel like it. I want to just go and take this textile course because I feel like it. That part of yourself as an artist, you should never, ever suppress. You should still be curious. You should be creating things that just strike a chord with you. That is how you evolve. That's what keeps that fire going inside of you. You should never stop that side of you. And then that part of you informs that work that you put out into the world. So we're looking for the relationship between our artworks, and it's okay to be diverse at any point. As beginners, it's normal because you've just found art and you want to do this course and that course and the other course. Even as an established artist, there are still loads of things that we want to try and things that we see. So from this process, it's about having a starting point, an anchor for your work. It might be a poem, it might be the medium that you choose. The great thing is it doesn't have to be subject matter, which is the trap that people fall into. They think that they have to create the same subject matter forever and that's it now, I'm trapped. It is not that way. Remember, you only need one artwork to get started. You don't have to rush off now and create your album like a musician. We've had people take part in these workshops with one artwork using this framework. That one artwork has gone on a traveling exhibition around the world. And for some, it's informed the work that they make. So this is where the 7 Keys course will help you create a project for yourself. So you've got some grounding and direction. Now, don't worry at this stage about, oh gosh, what if I stick to birds and then I realize that I don't want to create birds and then I've attracted people who like birds, and try not to, again, you're trying to predict the future here. Don't worry about it. It's possible to change. We've had people in our community. Sylvan started with birds and now she's creating abstract artwork. You use the framework to change your direction. Our friend Drew Brophy and Maria Brophy is a great example of this. Drew Brophy has been a surfboard artist for decades. And it was 5 years ago that Drew decided that he wanted to start creating art that was focused on sacred geometry. Completely different why, completely different what, completely different audience. He had to put his work in different magazines, exhibited in different places. You can do that. You use the 7 keys to completely change. What we want to try and do as much as possible is evolve rather than keep pivoting, just because it makes life simpler. But ultimately, you've got to listen to what's inside here and choose the direction that is right for you. But through this framework, we will teach you how to evolve or how to completely pivot. So your first action, now you can move away from that one artwork I've been asking you to focus on. You're like, phew. I want you to look at all of your artwork now. And this can be tough for some people if you've got 30 years of artwork lying around. But I want you to look at all your artwork and I want you to start to think about them in collections, like an album, like a musician would. They are called bodies of work, collections of work, a series, a theme. It doesn't matter what you call it, but it's looking for a relationship between your artworks. Now, the relationship might be based on what you can see. You might have artwork that's all different, the same size or the same shape, and you might put those together and think they all sit together. It might be colors. You might think, oh, look, there's some colors here. Maybe I'll put those together. You might photograph them because you might change. And then, so you might put them together as colors and then think, actually, there was more to these works. There was something behind the why. So we might not be able to see the relationship on the surface through the what. The why might be what pulls these works together. There might be, I don't know, you might have listened to a certain song as you made these pieces. That is the why behind, that's the thread. So they look completely different, but there is something pulling them together based on why you made them. So have a go at pulling your work into little collections, big collections. There isn't a number on this. You can just have a go, just putting them. What is the relationship? That's what you're looking for. What is the relationship? Because if your work has no relationship whatsoever, it's like opening a cafe, a hairdresser's, a toy shop, a baker's. You've got lots of different businesses going on. Your people are different and it's hard work. The other thing is you're missing opportunities because 70% of people are likely to buy from you again if they've bought from you before. A generalization, but it is a high statistic. So when you create work in collections, we've seen this numerous times where people will buy multiples. People that have taken part in these workshops have said the same customer has bought 3, 5, even 10 pieces. My friend Sharon, who had a commission last year for 15 pieces of work. And that's because of the thread. They knew that those 15 pieces were going to be similar. If she was creating random pieces all over the place, she would never have got that commission. So there is an exception to the rule here. You know, once you become an established artist and people are buying art because they love you, then you can create whatever you like. So you might see people out there, you know, going against this rule that I'm teaching, but that's because they've established themselves. They found their who, they found their people. But at the beginning stages, to build momentum, to find those first people and to grow that audience and those connections and make those first few sales, this is the simplest and easiest way to do it. Does not mean you have to stop making all the things you love. It's just what you're becoming known for. So at this point, some people can start to panic and think, I haven't found my voice. I don't have a collection. And people have run the risk sometimes at this stage of going, right, I'm going to go off now. I'm going to go off by myself down a rabbit hole and just create a big collection of work. And you can do that. I'm not saying you can't, but what I will say is if you use the framework as you go, as you create art, what I've found time and time again is this framework, when you start to figure your who and your where, can inform the what you make. You start to make work based on your people, based on where it's going. When you just have a few pieces and you start to realize the relationship it has with people, you might go on a journey. You might just have a few pieces and meet someone who has an opportunity for you that changes the direction of your work. I've seen that happen many times. You end up building a collection based on the opportunity that you have. So you use the 7 keys to guide your collection. If you do it that way, then you can grow your audience and you can tease your audience and show them, I'm working on this exciting collection of art, show them behind the scenes, take pre-orders. So don't feel you've got to rush off, and don't feel that you've got to have a full album of artwork before you can get going. You don't, you just need that one artwork. Because there are also 2 parts of being an artist. I always say there's a non-negotiable part of being an artist, which is your why. No one should take that away from you. Your why is non-negotiable. That's why you are excited to make. It's your passion. It's you. It's who makes you. The negotiable part of being an artist is the what. There's a part of the what that we can adapt and change. So once we start to find our people and our place, we might change the scale. We might change the subject matter. We might tweak certain parts of the work so that it really fits with a who. That's what we teach inside the 7 Keys full course. There's an opportunity there sometimes to just tighten things up, and then you relate to a who. That's the negotiable part of being an artist. So it doesn't have to be the same subject matter, it doesn't have to be the same medium over and over and over again. All of this starts to now lead into your how and your action. The how is way too big to cover because it includes your marketing, your selling, your pricing, how you're going to do this. I cover a lot of this in the course. I will be sharing some webinars over this week as well on selling. And the final action is how we take consistent action after this. We want to keep this going. We don't want this to just dissolve after we've done these workshops, because being an artist is the long game. And what we've covered in these workshops is just the beginning. What I've seen happen in the past after the workshops is then the fear creeps back in and people give up. Life takes over. We forget what the 7 keys even were. Or we start to use Instagram, but we panic because there's all these things on Instagram and I don't know what I'm doing, and now I'm feeling out my depth. Or all of a sudden somebody comes and approaches you and says, I'd like to buy your work, and you go, I don't know what to do. You don't know how to negotiate a deal with an agent. You panic. You feel like an imposter. I shouldn't be doing this. You have a horrible experience that you just want to cry. And then you start to feel that you haven't got time to figure this out. And that's why I've created the 7 Keys course, because I've been working with artists for years now, and I know these fears and I know what stops people from making progress. So if you've enjoyed these workshops and if you don't want it to end, you will love the 7 Keys course. It's an 8-week live experience where we delve deeper into each key. And I give you very, very clear actions in relation to yourself and your artwork, breaking this down into manageable steps. So if you want myself and my team in your pocket for the next 8 weeks, this is for you. At the end of the course, you end up with your own success plan. So all the steps in the course lead you to create your success plan, which is effectively your business plan. It's what you can take to galleries. It's what you can take to grant bodies who are giving funding. It enables you to focus on what's next as well. So the course, although it's an 8-week live experience, you have access to the platform where the course is for 12 months. So you have 12 months to access all the material, but you actually have it for life because we let you download all the audios and all the worksheets. So you can have this full framework in your pocket forever, and you can go through these steps over and over again. So the course is delivered through videos, and I keep the videos to less than 10 minutes long because I know that you're busy. I get straight to the point. You've got PDFs that you can download and work through, and then I give you recap pages with your clear actions so you're always knowing what you've got to do. There is also a podcast version of the course. So if you like listening on audio whilst you're on walks or in the car, you can listen to the course that way. And then I have a weekly live session during the 8-week period as well. So we've tried as much as possible to take the hard work away. It takes 1 hour a week. That's what I've created it to do. 1 hour a week. If you've got more, then that's great. But 1 hour a week is what it takes. And we've created a community off social media as well, which is really exciting. Now, I know this course isn't for everybody. That's why I provide the workshops for free. But if you've decided that the course is not for you, please do still listen. I'm going to share in a minute now the information about the course and what's included, because you might return next year and you might take part next year, or you might know somebody who will benefit from this course. So I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to share what the course involves and what happens. Feel free to ask any questions. The link to this has been emailed, so I will share this with you and you can read this full page in your own time. If you have any questions when you jump on this page, there's a little button at the bottom where I'm waving at you. You can click that and ask any questions. We close enrollment on Friday at 12 noon UK time. And this course has been created for all ages, all stages. We have beginners taking this course. We have more established artists taking this course. So it doesn't matter what stage you are, it will help you. And here's how it's helped other people. So I remember Hannah taking part in this course, and she was literally, her confidence was in pieces because she'd been told by many people in her past that her art was just not good enough. She was told that she would never sell. She was at the very, very beginning stages. She was too scared to even post her work through fear of being judged. And fast forward, it's literally incredible. Sold 20 paintings, 700 greeting cards from an artwork that she thought was rubbish, but everybody else loved. 75 framed photos, hundreds of digital photos, coffee mugs, notebooks. The list goes on. And I think the most important part of this is Hannah's confidence. To see the transformation in Hannah, that it doesn't matter to me what she sold, it was that meant everything. She came from, being terrified to now being this confident person, putting herself out in the world. Linda joined us after 20 years of not making art and returned to art through a glass workshop during the pandemic. And she started making glass pieces and gave them as presents. And 12 months later is a full-time glass artist making a living, has a studio. Evelyn, I love to include Evelyn on here because Evelyn is a chocolate artist. So Evelyn has used the 7 Keys to sell her chocolate art. This is actually made of chocolate, this picture on the the screen here. But yes, Evelyn has used the 7 keys to really, make a full-time living from her chocolate art, particularly understanding her why and how to connect that to people. Nina is coming on later. I'm doing a live Q&A session with some of our alumni at 3 p.m. UK time today. Nina took part in the workshops, like many of you, a year ago. She took part and she didn't have an artwork. She'd had a break from art for years, dabbled here and there. She had no artwork. She made an artwork just so she could take part in the workshops. 12 months later, she's had 3 exhibitions. She's now selling internationally, has a website, part of an art group. And she sent me the details of what she sold. It is mind-blowing. So Nina's going to be coming on to talk about it later, but said the course has more than paid for itself. I'll be referring to these teachings for the rest of my career. Nicola took part in the course. There's just too many testimonials to share, but says here that we are changing lives. It is amazing. It makes me so proud of what we've created, myself and the team, because it's not just me, the team have contributed towards this as well. So the course is for you. If you're not sure what direction to take your art in, the 7 keys will help. If you feel like you're getting in your own way and you just don't know how to stop, I'll show you in a minute how that's going to help you. If you're feeling overwhelmed because there's all different options, there's different places, you don't know the next steps. If you really want to make the art you love and you want to get it in front of people, if you feel like you don't have a voice and you want to understand what it is, if you want to make art but you can't seem to turn likes into sales, you've got all the people coming in but you just can't seem to sell. If you just want to understand how to reach your people, where to put it and how to make a living, this is the course for you, okay? So what you get inside, we have a tech clinic. So if anyone is scared of technology and I just don't know how to access the course and all the worksheets, we've created a tech clinic and we have a tech playlist giving you step-by instructions on how to use our platform. And we spend the first week making sure that you are onboarded and that you know exactly where to go for everything. We also have a weekly live session. You can send your questions to me in advance and I will answer them on the live session. You don't have to attend this live because we have people in the UK in my time zone. They're at work. It's impossible to pick a time that everyone can attend. I like doing them live because I work better that way. I could pre-record everything, but I like to do them live. The great thing with watching the recordings is we have a platform where you can search for your name and it will take you right to the point of the video where I answered your question. So you don't have to watch the whole Q&A session. We also have a community off Facebook. We have our own community. You don't need social media. There'll be no distractions. It's a really amazing platform. And you have access to the platform for 12 months, but you can download all the PDFs, all the recap pages telling you what to do at each key, and the audio as well. So you can download the audio. So you've got all of this for life. So this is a summary of what we'll be covering. So week 1, it's the 26th that the course starts. The week before that is week of welcome. The 26th, we release mindset. And this is where I start to really help you fine tune your mindset. I've been told that this part alone is the bit that transforms people's lives. This is the part where I'm going to start to teach you how to deal with your fear, working with it, not against it. I'm going to teach you how to make friends with money. A lot of people join this program and don't realize that they have issues with money and that they're repelling money. So we do a lot of work on money mindset. We help you start to create your big vision and program your mind for success. It's a really exciting module. And then we work into the why. I have so many more questions in this lesson for you. I have loads more questions that are going to delve into writing your website copy, really understanding your journey of how you became an artist to where you are today. These questions will help unearth the stories that you're sitting on, the stories that are inside your head that you can start to pull out. It will create your bio, your statements, your website. It will also be in this lesson the answers that people want to hear when you're applying for grants or if you're going to approach people for opportunities. Then we move into the what. So when we come to the what, it's obviously describing the artwork like we've been doing, but we're going to spend much more time here looking for that thread that ties your work together. We're going to create your manifesto, which sounds scary, but it isn't. It's very exciting because that's going to ground your work. And then we're going to start to help you build a strong collection of work. We're going to give you examples of how you can create your own album, your own collection that feeds into your who. Then we look at the who and we start to create your ideal customer profile. You're going to create a profile so that you know who you're talking to, so that when you create social media captions, you're speaking to your people. When you speak to them, they'll take notice. We're going to look at the different types of who and how they relate to your work. And you'll start to look at the relationships between your why, what, your purpose, and the who. And then we delve into your where. So we share an ebook as a bonus for this part of the course that gives you lots of ideas of places that you can put your work. But I'm also going to teach you how to understand return on investment, which sounds really scary, but it isn't. It's looking at places and how you decide whether that is going to give you a good return on your time and your money. So you can start choosing places that fit for you. And I'll teach you how to research places and make sure that they're a good fit for you. By the end of this, you'll have 1 to 3 places that you're going to start to put your work in. It's really exciting. Then we move on to the how. So during the how, we start to look about how you're going to stand out from the crowd. How are we going to price your work? How are we going to convert likes into sales? We've started to attract people, but how do we convert them into sales? I give you selling tips in this part. I'm going to help you write and speak about your work. Now that we know all the answers to your who and why you make what you make, I'm going to help you turn your passion into purpose, which is crucial when you want to sell. When people buy, it's because there's a purpose. So I want to start to teach you, taking your why and your passion, what is that purpose? And I'm going to teach you how to make a sales and marketing plan. If you're not ready to sell, you can skip that part, but you can download this lesson. So in the future, when you're ready to sell, you'll have all the lessons on how to make a sales and marketing plan. And then we move into the how part 2. I've split it into 2 because it's quite a lot to cover. In the second part, we focus on marketing. People are scared of marketing, but it's simply your way of voicing and sharing what you do and how you stand out from the crowd. But I teach you the way I market, which is attract, engage, convert, retain. This might sound scary, but it isn't. I've broken it down in the course. It's very simple to understand. And I teach you how to create the power hours at each of these stages. So if you feel like you've been attracting people and now it's time to convert them, I can teach you how to do a power hour to convert people into sales. I even give you templates in this part. I'm giving you templates of, I've written an email out. All you have to do is change some of the words and you can go out and send those emails off to people to start approaching people. I've given you as many templates and as many already done for you elements in this course because what I want you to do is just go through and take the action, and I want you to get out there and I want you to do it. So there's nothing to hold you back here. We're making this as easy as possible. I'm not going to say that the course is easy. It isn't. But we're making it as easy as possible for you to get out there and do this and get your work into the world, even with one piece. And then the final key is action. This is the final key. This is how are you going to organize your time? How are you going to plan beyond this? I take you behind the scenes and share how I organize my time. I teach you another 80-20 rule when it comes to focusing on the main tasks that you need to focus on. And then the ultimate part of this course is your success plan. At the end of this, you are going to have a template where I give you all the steps to create your success plan. So you'll take all the answers from the keys and fill in your success plan. And that is going to become your amazing, valuable asset leaving this course. And you'll have your next 1 to 3 steps, knowing the actions that you need to take after the course has finished. So there are bonuses as well. These aren't part of the course, but they are bonuses that we've included to supplement the course. So the bonuses this time round, we include an SOS bundle. So I'm giving you a playlist of videos, which will become your survival kit. Tackling lack of time, not being good enough, fear, all the things that I know hold people back. I'm also sharing my program, Your Mind for Success, which is my own personal visualization that I've recorded that I listen to every time I want to manifest success. So before I'm doing a show, before I'm doing workshops, if I want to create art or anything that's complicated, I use this visualization. I'm also going to share creating a collection of work. So this is a bonus lesson, sharing examples from other people and other artists and how they've created collections. That will be released when we get to the what section. And then I've also included a full course on pricing. This is a separate course in itself that will be released when you get to the how. So this is a mini course teaching you how to price your work. So you'll know everything about pricing once you've done that course. And then there's the 31 places to show and sell your work ebook as well. And then for the people that sign up in the first 24 hours, I've only got limited spots for this. So for the people that sign up in the first 24 hours, there's a fast action bonus. I hold a exclusive webinar on how to sell your work on social media. And it will be on the 30th of November. And I will share my tips for selling on social media, and I review the social media profiles. And I have done last year, I did everybody's social media profile and I reviewed them in the session. So that's for people that sign up in the first 24 hours. So the cost of the course is £357 plus VAT for people inside the UK. And the price of this course is going up next year. And I'll explain why I'm putting the price up for the course in the pricing webinar that I do this week, but the price is going up next year. There is an option to split pay this as well if you want to spread the payments over 3. If you click the Join Now button, it will show you that option. You can click and select that to split pay. So I won't read all of these out. We've asked people if people have messages for you for joining, because we know there's lots of fear around this. I'll let you read this in your own time. We'll send you the link for this. There are so many testimonials. I'm going to share some stories over the next week, showing you stories and sharing stories from people that have taken this course. People at all different stages and abilities and ages, and share with you how it's helped people so that you can see and ask them questions as well. So I'll stop sharing that and we will start to wrap up. So there has never been a better time than now. I just want to say that again. I know I said it at the very beginning. Even if you take this course or not, there is never a better time than now. I want you to take action and I want you to know that you matter, your art matters, and you have a place in the world. But we've had so many people sit on the fence and not take this course and feel like, I'll just take it when I'm ready. But you've seen the results that people can have in 12 months. And they wish they'd joined sooner. People are filled with fear sometimes, thinking they're not good enough. But we're not here to judge you. We're not going to judge your artwork. We're not going to judge you. We just want to help you. We want to help take you through this. We've been delivering this for years. We've worked with thousands of people, and we have so much experience with all the different fears and different scenarios. So if this is time to do something for you, if this is time to no longer push that dream back, to make excuses up, if this is your time now to get the help and support that you need, then we would love to help you along your journey. I remember Hannah sharing the fear that she had when she was about to take the course. And she said she felt like, if I spend this money, what if I don't sell? Then what if I've wasted all the money? What if I'm not good enough? What if I sign up and I'm actually not good enough? What if I'm fooling myself? I can make a living, and perhaps that I can't. Maybe I'm the one person out of all these people that I can't do this. What if I'm laughed at? What if I take this course and everyone laughs at me when I share my artwork? All of these feelings are normal. And this is what we're going to help reframe. Because like we've seen, people have taken this course. Some people aren't selling yet. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that everyone that's taken it is selling. There is a vast majority of people that are, but lots of people, even though they're not selling, have said to me, I feel amazing. I'm making art that I love. I'm calling myself an artist. I found people. I'm exhibiting. I'm taking the steps. It's incredible. I know I can use this now again and again, and I know I will start selling. So I love sharing this stuff. I have a background in business and a background in art, and I really do take time to be patient and show empathy. I have been where you are. I am where you are. I've been in slumps. I've had things not work for me. I've been through this framework many times. I've had it backfire on me. I've had it work. So I'm here to help. I really love, there's nothing more that I love doing than sharing what I know with other people. So if you're sat there feeling like you're not good enough, or you're overwhelmed, or there's any fear whatsoever stopping you, reach out to us and ask us. You can reach out to other people that have taken the course and ask them what they were feeling. There's lots of people probably in the comments here now who can tell you that they've taken the 7 keys, and they can let you know how it's helped them. So your one action, as always, I want to know, tell me your one takeaway from this video. What's your one takeaway? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to go back and read the comments. I just want to add as well, for those that sign up, if you are nervous, there is a 14-day money-back guarantee. If you sign up and you take part and you think it's just not for me, I can't do this, we will give you your money back. We're not going to sell it to you and then trap you. If you decide it's not for you, then we will give you a full refund. That's 14 days from the day that you sign up. So let's recap. I want you to review all of your artwork. I want you to start to consider how your current work fits into albums, collections, or a body of work, like a musician. I want you to consider whether it's based on the why or whether it's based on what you can actually see, or maybe both. You can photograph this, mix it up. It doesn't have to be set in stone. You're just getting the ball rolling. And I want you to remember that 80-20 rule in terms of making. What will be the 80% that you start to make, that you push out into the world, that you'll become known for? Might be an element that anchors your work, such as the medium that you're working in, or the why. So what's that thread? And you don't have to have the answers right now. These are questions to ponder as you move forward. And if you are taking the course with us, this is what will help. So everything comes down on Thursday. I will be back at 3 p.m. with alumni to answer any questions and to hear how the 7 keys has helped them. And then this week, there's going to be webinars as well on pricing, on approaching galleries, and on social media. Let me know in the comments, are you joining the course? We will put the links. I've just realized I didn't put the link in the comments above, so I need to go and do that now. I will email you the links to join the course as well. And I'm excited. I'm excited to take you on this journey. So thank you so much for tuning in today. We're going to have a fun few days now. And let me know if you've got any questions, either in the comments below the video or on that page where I just showed you that button at the bottom. You can leave me a question there and I'll get back to you. So let's do this. Thank you again. And I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.